always got to set a plan, no matter how unrealistic, but you've got to be realistic as to how you're going to get to there. There's no point setting unrealistic goals. You've heard everyone in sport at the moment saying, I'm going to be at 2012. No matter what age they are, I'm going to be at 2012. When realistically, if you're not performing this summer in the World Championships, it can be pretty difficult in the space of a year to surprise yourself. I don't believe in surprise yourself. You've got to be consistent. Consistent as a person when you win, consistent as a person when you lose. So my plan are, short-term plans are work on my speed, work on my strengths, and spend a lot of time sprinting, spend a lot of time in the gym. And then hopefully that will transfer into a medium-term goal in the World Championships, making the final. And then my long-term goal, I say long-term, you can't think too far ahead, and I think 18 months, which is roughly next August, isn't it, when the Olympics, which is on your doorstep. Hope you're going to go and watch and cheer everyone on. That's my long-term goal, and that's to get a medal. Now the reason I say gold is, I said this to Mr. Henson earlier, I believe in being quietly confident. You've got to be confident in sport, but quietly confident is the way I go about my business. University I'm studying. You study in your room with your desk, eating your biscuits, drinking your coffee. Oh, this is quite easy. You listen to a bit of music. Then exam day comes, and you're in a big hall, chaos. There's about 500 people in these big, and you've got an hour, or you've got 2 hours to finish this essay. Then suddenly you're under a bit of pressure. You're like, oh. And you may be taking a Red Bull to make you feel a bit better. So what you don't prepare for is working under stress. Same with training. Everyone trains, go to the gym, but when it comes to competition time, you haven't put yourself under, my parents are watching, oh, that guy's running fast. I'm not used to running against faster people than me. So suddenly you've got to realise preparation is quite important. I haven't prepared for 60,000 people watching me. I haven't prepared for racing in Delhi, where it's 32, 33 degrees. I've done all my training in Cardiff, where it's about 2 degrees. So there's more to it than just training.
What do you consider to be the moment when your career changed from a hobby?
Good question. I think when I went to university, worked hard in school, I just said to the guys, I didn't find the studying came easy. I really had to work. And obviously I wanted to make my mum proud and stop her nagging me. So I went away to university, but I always, back in my mind, I always use it as an excuse. I'm an athlete, but I've got my studying as well. There's more to me than just athletics. But then I got injured, then I realised this athletics my lark. It means more to me than I've led myself to believe. When something's taken away from you, say you're not allowed to eat chocolate. All you want to do is eat chocolate, for example. So when I couldn't run, so what I wanted to do was run. So when I got to about 22, 23, that's when I realised, because everything was quite easy up until then, I just took it in my stride. That's kind of the attitude I have now. But that age was when I kind of, saw myself as a full-time athlete. I think it's a lot closer to home than you think. When you're young, you think, oh, Christy, Colin Jackson, you and Thomas, but really it's your parents or your family or your guardians or whoever's around you who you really look up to, who've given you a good example. So for me, probably my dad, because he was similar to me, just worked his way to get to where he is, and I admire that. But who's your hero? Who do you look up to? Jessica Ennis. Why'd you look up to it? Because sometimes it's not just the winning, it's the way they conduct themselves.
The way she went through all the injuries and come back, had to completely retrain off her opposite foot, and she's come back winning. Yeah, and you know,
I can be the first to tell you, because I've been in a team with her, that she's a great person. She's modest, she's not in the slightest cocky or big-headed, so she's got the right attitude, she's grounded.
The best advice you've given when you were young?
If you want something badly enough, you've got to work and do everything you can to get it. Because there's no shortcuts. I've said that a few times today. So through hard work, that's where happiness is, and that's where you get your most satisfaction, really.
Thurrock is a massive area. It's got a population of 150,000. It hasn't got a major sports club. One day we're hopeful that Thurrock will be the major rugby club in the area. And I've brought together this morning two great athletes. First of all, we have Rhys Williams. Rhys, of course, is European silver medalist, Commonwealth bronze medalist in Delhi last year, and is the son of that fantastic rugby player JJ Williams. JJ Williams, of course, 30 caps for Wales, 12 tries, and scored more tries in one game than any other Lions player. 6, beating Shane Williams 5. Second highest try scorer of all time for the Lions, just one fewer than Tony O'Reilly, the great Irishman, who is the president of Heinz. Michael Stanley, the nephew of the legendary Joe Stanley, England rugby player all the way through the age groups, under 16, under 18, under 20. And we've brought him to William Edward School, his former school, this morning to meet Rhys Williams to talk about ways of inspiring him to reach the very top in his sport.
Okay, so Rhys, so obviously your dad being a legendary rugby player, what influenced you to go down the athletics path instead of following up rugby?
Well, you know what fathers are like. I guess my dad would have wanted me to get into rugby, but also wanted to be a runner.
Yeah.
Watched it on TV and I loved it, and then tried it and got addicted. So that's where it came from.
Nice, yeah. So what influenced you? So did you what influenced you to reach the top in your chosen sport?
Well, I think what I found in rugby, no matter how good you were or how much you wanted to win, some of the other guys wouldn't have the same ambition as you, or maybe they're not the same goals.
Yeah.
Maybe they were there for different reasons, or maybe you have to rely on 14 other donkeys. I didn't like that. My personality is probably a lot to do with it. So I like doing stuff on my back. When I lose, it's my fault. It's not the prop's fault or for not tackling.
Yeah.
You perform better when your muscles are warm. It's like an elastic band. Stretches more when it's warmer. So everyone know about stretching and all that? So you've got to make sure so when you're going to do this, it's a sprint event. Different from going out for a jog, you don't need to be too warm. When you sprint, you need to make sure you're nice and warmed up. Make sure you do some stretching, as I'm sure your PT teachers have all told you. Anyway, right, hurdling. Start off a little quiz. In a 400 metre hurdles race, how many hurdles are there? Have a guess. Close. There's 10. So if I improve my technique by 10 100th, which is, well, you can't even stop your clock fast enough to get it. If I do it over 10 hurdles, how much is that? 10 100th or 0.1 100th over 10 hurdles. That's a second if there's 10 hurdles. All I need to do is improve my hurdling by a little bit, and I'm knock the second off without running quicker, without anything. If I improve it a lot, by half a second, which I can definitely do with all of you guys, because you've all got so much to improve on, which is great. I don't mean that negative at all. That's a massive positive. The time to worry is when you've got nothing to improve on. Then you're going to go, how do I get faster? So anyway, it's called a get you warm. Right, here's the basics of hurdling, okay? I'm gonna say it too complicated, then I'll tell it to you simply. The knee comes up to the bum. The heel comes up to the bum. The knee comes up, it stretches out, okay? So we go over, and then the arm swims round. Now all of you guys were hurdling great, but what I'd like to see is use your arms more. So I'll do that again. Just watch how I do my, I'm not even thinking about my legs. Well, I am, but I swim the arm round. And don't think about swimming it round, you're doing it great. Thumb down, alright, run up, your thumb goes down and swim it round. Now with these hurdles, we're going to knock them right down, ideally over these little ones to start off with. So we'll do it once more, visual feedback now, okay, so just watch me, you go over it. You're obviously jogging into it, you're not stepping into it like that. You just swim your arm round. Anyone heard of biomechanics? Bit of that, you'll get to learn it. It will balance this leg, the trail leg, it will bounce it out. So when lead leg, your trail leg is then balanced. So and if you feel a bit, whoa, a little bit, you're jumping. No, you don't feel out of balance. You're probably doing it right then. It will help. Good. Use your arms. Good.